What's your favourite traditional distillery to visit?
I think like one of them certainly was when we went to the Spirit of Speyside, and we went to Benriach and got shown around by Stuart there.
Yeah.
It's one of Doig's supposedly maybe his last ever distillery that he designed.
Is it?
There's stuff in it that's really interesting for somebody who designs distilleries. Like there was the kind of historic railway through the middle of the yard, so that it kind of makes sense from the kind of sustainability point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But getting shown around by somebody who was there when they took it out of mothball, who knows how all of the different bits of kit need that kind of tune played on them, to get the most out of them. And it's not a kind of modern kind of sanitized environment. You can see where leaks have been in the still house roof, and I think there's so much kind of character that's built into all the layers of kind of furst that's in that space, and that I really like that from an old distillery, and it's hard to recreate.
Yeah, there was hardly any visitor specific, 21st century visitor specific bit, was there? There's a little cottage with a shop in it.
Yeah.
Unless we never saw it.
Well, I think the tasting room is
in that building.
There.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? There's no concession to visitors, really.
No.
There doesn't need to be.
No, but I mean, there was stuff there, when we were walking around, and they were talking about the old malting floor, and if the wind's blowing in a certain direction, you need to crank that window open to that mark, and have the one opposite and whatever. All of that stuff, I think, is just, there's something kind of magical about distilleries that have that in them, and trying to bring that into a new space can be a challenge, but getting down to the individual bits of kit and whatever, I think is quite important sometimes. But what about you? What's the one you like?
Right, no one would say this but me, but Deanston. Deanston's a brilliant visit. It used to be an old cotton mill, so it's all higgledy-piggledy, and things are squeezed in, and rooms that shouldn't have kit in them have got kit in them, and then you need to walk through that wee door, and you need to go up the stairs. First of all, you start off, you go in, and you're under the grain silos. You're just in this tiny wee space under the grain silos, and then you go up a little stair, and then you go into the room with the mash tun in it, which it just fits in, and then you go through to the still house, and you've got these mad stills which you kind of can't see because they're right in the heart of the building, stills with the line arms that go up,
Yeah.
And it's exactly like that. It's got all that unchanged patina of we just made it work.
Yeah.
And just kind of jammed it in. And then you go right through to where they keep the casks, and it's a big old vaulted cotton store or something like that, but it's just perfect for storing casks in. It's really heavy, dark, mouldy room. Yeah, really, really good. Yeah, but so what else would
I think the other one for me is Springbank is an amazing thing to see. Just there's just things in there that I don't think you see anywhere else, or you see very rarely. They've got a kind of the old mash tun, which is an old panelised thing, and just there's so much kind of character built into there. We got shown around by the distillery manager in there, so you could really ask him some quite kind of detailed, geeky questions.
Yeah.
But he took us out to got to see in the worm tub when the still was in operation, and all those kind of things, and just again, there was one of the washbacks was spec'd slightly wrong. So you've got a room full of I don't know what it is, 8 or 10 washbacks, and then on one of them you have to step up 3 steps to look in it, because it was built higher, and there are all those kind of things, I think. And Springbank has got an amazing kind of reputation for the spirit, but I think it's they're kind of they're kind of bloody minded about how it's all done. Everything's done by hand.
It's done their way.
Yeah, it's completely done their way, and they kind of take turns in turning the grain on the malting floor, and I think it's probably quite a hard shift for
And
a
it does
distiller.
that unusual thing as well, where it employs people that other industries would automate.
Yeah,
You know, so it keeps people, like Brewer Claddy, 100 plus people on Isla. They keep people in jobs when they don't need to. They could
Yeah.
automate those jobs away, but they don't. And I think that's quite unusual in the whiskey industry that folk do that because of where they're located. You know, these rural places, you've got to be in with the community, of course. You
Yeah.
support each other. And so people do jobs that otherwise you wouldn't be doing if you're in the centre of Glasgow.
yeah, but I think and it keeps those skills going for the future generations. You know, I think like we've talked about it before, is that like, you know, if you're setting up a malting floor, is there any consultant out there who can come and help you do that? And like the answer, not really. Like
No, they're
you're
all
kind
gone.
of bringing guys back out of retirement to learn that. Whereas like Springbank does have those people with those skills. So
Yeah.
you know, it's whether it's probably not widely replicated, but I think, you know, to see it as a kind of visitor experience, I think is an amazing kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.